Well, welcome to the first day of the International Day of People with Disabilities 2018 Australian Power Chair Football Association National Championships from the Brisbane State High School. I'm Simon Smale and I will be your commentator for a fair few of the matches throughout the week, and we are starting off with a bang here between the Queensland Cyclones and the New South Wales team. So a big state of origin battle to do us in the opening game, game one of day one. It should be a real classic encounter. It's the two teams with the longest standing rivalry. They've played every National Championships Grand Final, and Queensland have come out on top the last 2 years. They're chasing their third title. The last game between the two sides did take place in the 2017 National Championships. Queensland coming back from 3-1 down to win 5-3 in extra time. A dramatic game. Alongside me is New Zealand Power Chair Football representative Luke Alderton. Luke, great to have you back in Australia, and this should be a great competition, but a great game to start things off.
Oh, exactly. What a curtain raiser to have at the beginning. You've got the two powerhouses of Australian Power Chair Football going at each other. No, it should be a great competition if this game is to go by. Both
of these two states have got the longest history with Power Chair Football in Australia. They both have the most experience and are littered with Australian poweroos, players that you've come up against on a number of occasions over the years. Who should we be looking out for?
Oh, there's so many. Where to begin? Well, we've got the world MVP, Abdullah Karim, playing for New South Wales. He's always a tricky one, likes to dribble it around us. We've had many a tussle before. Also, we've got from Queensland, Josh Merkis. He's Australian representative. Always another difficult opponent. Who else? Feels mean to single them out. There's so many.
And that's the thing, isn't it? When you've got two teams that are littered with internationals, there are really no weak links, and it should make for exciting football.
Oh, it will for sure. No, both of these teams are international quality, really. And I think the game that we're about to see is going to show that.
Of course, your side, the New Zealand Red team, we'll be seeing you guys later on today, and I'll be calling that one. That's game 3 of today's matches. And I really think that New Zealand, it's an up-and-coming Power Chair Football nation, and you look like you've got a very young group of players, and you'll be looking forward to, of course, playing against representatives from these two teams in the Ditch Cup on Saturday.
It's always exciting. No, it's been a few years since I've played in that Ditch Cup, and I can't wait to be back playing it. Yeah, no, our team is very young, but that's a good thing, I think. They're mouldable, they're enthusiastic, exuberant, you know how all young people are. We had our first Nationals this year held in Taupo, so it's a big step for New Zealand Power Chair Football. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting competing in the APFA Cup, October next year. Might steal us a place in the World Cup, hopefully. Held also here in Australia. It'll be held in Sydney.
Yeah, you're right. 2021, I think, that's
indeed.
The next World Cup, and it's going to be taking place in Sydney, and a fantastic occasion that will be, of course. We'll let you guys know what's happening at the moment. Players are just getting ready to get into position. At the moment, they're speed checking their chairs. So if you could just let us know what the process is for that, Luke, and why they're doing that.
So the speed checking essentially makes sure that there's a max speed limit that a chair can go. Otherwise, you could be having chairs going 50 kilometres per hour. I think that would be a bit dangerous. I think everyone would agree. So essentially what they do is a chair will get on the speed checking thing where it has, they put the wheels on and they rotate thing, and then from that they can check the speeds of the chairs. The max speed is 10 k's per hour. So they have to do that before every match just to make sure that everyone's going the same speed, and they check it both forwards and reverse.
So over 10 kilometres per hour, obviously for safety reasons, you can't have some players whizzing around at 40 or 30. There's a 10k an hour speed limit, but you'd still be surprised at how just how quick that is, I think, especially from a position in a chair. You guys do whiz around this court, and some of the skill level and the spatial awareness that you guys have to show and exhibit throughout the course of the game is really quite remarkable.
Oh, it certainly is, especially the agility and the tempo that we have to play the game. No rests except for half time, but other than that, mine's got to be switched on all the time, ready to try and score some goals.
There's two classifications as well within power chair football, is P1 and P2. P1 is the more extreme end of the spectrum, and P2 is a little bit more mobility and a little bit more head strength, as I understand it, and neck strength. Yeah,
essentially two major things. It's how well they can control their chair physically with their hand, and also the amount of view they can see, so whether they can turn their head back. So that's the two main things, and if you can see behind you, obviously you've got a more advantage. You're less impaired.
Well, you mentioned using the hand to control the chair. Of course, we see Ben Kite here, a former Power Choose representative. He's actually controlling the chair with his chin, which I find absolutely incredible. And the world MVP, Abdullah Karim, will use his feet. He doesn't have arms. For the uninitiated, it truly is remarkable as we see the two teams warming up now. Queensland, of course, in the maroons, and New South Wales in their traditional light blue. Both teams have been provided with kits from their respective state federations, Football New South Wales and Football Queensland. Football Queensland, of course, have also provided referees today. There's a couple of last-minute changes that needed to be made for the officiating teams, since we do have some fairly recognisable faces on the sidelines, running the sidelines today, because of some refereeing shortages. Refereeing shortages a problem with every type of football, I think, at the moment, and it should be interesting for them to develop and see how this game's played.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, they've got no VAR, so got to make the decisions themselves, and I don't envy their job at all.
It's a tough job, no matter what the sport, and I have to admit, though, I am quite thankful that we don't have VAR. We will have replays, though. We'll be able to see that. I'm not a fan of VAR. You'll learn that with me. I get very frustrated. No. You're absolutely right. It can be very frustrating. Tim and Dan are going to be our producers for replay, so thank you to them, bringing us all the live stream and all the action here as we see the toss. And Queensland getting ready. It's 4-a-side, one goalkeeper included in that. And Queensland setting themselves up. Looks like the team, as things standard, will be Tom Latcham in goal and Bryce Castles, Josh Merkus and Tristram Peters. So all Power-Roos reps. A couple of them went to the World Cup last year, and New South Wales also lining up with an incredibly strong team. You see Abdullah Karim over on that far side on the ball now, then instantly intercepted. Jordan Crane just can't quite keep that one under control, and it'll be an early opportunity for Queensland to perhaps launch an attacking platform from this near side, and it'll be Josh Merkus who takes it. He's a player at the Strikers locally, and his Strikers team won the national championships from the state championships, for the third year in a row. And that's a foul for crowding, I believe. So more than two players in the same vicinity at once. Yeah, so it's called a 2-on-1, in which two players are within 3 metres of each other and the ball, and one opposing member. Get a good opportunity to see that from our elevated camera position here. We're on pitch side, so it's a little bit harder to see with the perspective as this Queensland gets defensive opportunity as well, and that's another good interception there by Bryce Castles. He's wearing the cricket pad, as you can see, on that left leg, and that's because he broke his leg at the start of the season. It's been a lengthy process of recovery, as I think happens for athletes in a wheelchair. If you do get an injury, it can be quite a lengthy process to come back from. Everything is sort of times 2, times 3 on recovery, unfortunately. But good to see him back playing. Merkus and Crane just doing battle there, and Merkus just getting the better there of his New South Wales counterpart. Can't quite keep the ball in play, though. It'll be a New South Wales kick in from that far side. Cagey start from both teams, and I think you'd expect that in the first game of the Nationals.
Bit of nerves, especially playing your rivals, bit of rivals.
It's a hell of a game to start with.
I know. I wonder who did the draw.
Oh, an opportunity perhaps for Castles. It was well defended though, but Peters
just wide.
Couldn't quite get that swing around and direct the ball on target. It was a good effort though, and that just shows how dangerous Queensland can be.
Exactly.
Lightning counter-attack, and you see Tristan Peters, Bryce Castles and Josh Merkers all played on different teams in the state competition. Peters playing for Moreton Bay Jets. Bit of contact there.
Yeah, swung into Peters there.
So Dimitri Loleo-Davis. Just a little lack of control, a little bit of early contact. Does that sometimes happen in power chair football, just to sort of let you know your opponent, let your opponent know that you're there?
Oh, not too often. I think probably it's a case of a different surface. Some surfaces like this one look a bit slippier, more slippery than others. So it's just finding the way to spin.
Lots of movement off the ball. Yeah. Peters and Kareem just trying to get themselves in the right position. Free kick ends up not being quite read as well as it might have been by Bryce Castles over on that far side, but nevertheless it's a good attacking opportunity for Queensland that has gone begging, and New South Wales will want to try and get the ball up the other end of the field, to be honest, because they're struggling a little bit at the moment to deal with the hosts' precision play, and everyone's marking each other pretty well at the moment from this kick in. Slight amount of contact, referees let that one go. And now this is great work again on this near side. Kareem and Peters, that'll be a battle that we need to look out for over the course of today.
And you'll see quite often one of the players try to whack it off the other to regain possession from these side kicks in.
Having trouble keeping the ball in one spot. One of our Football Queensland referees. Not quite used to a ball this size.
No, I can imagine. But ominous signs early from Queensland.
Well, Kareem tried to just nip in there. Peters puts it back inside. And then there'll be another Queensland ball in.
Back to where we were.
It's good football from Queensland, really putting New South Wales under pressure.
Yeah, their team chemistry is looking great out there, isn't it?
They've had a few training sessions together, as you'd expect, and been working pretty hard. Spoke to Tom Dixon last week, and he's the president of the Queensland Power Chair Football Association up here, and he is well aware of the... Peters can't quite get there. Merkus tries to nip in, but that's really well dealt with by Davis. Kareem racing to get there, doesn't quite get there though, and it's good goalkeeping from Latcham. Now a bit of a battle on this near side. First attacking opportunity for New South Wales. Back inside to Kareem. Kareem can't quite get there. An opportunity now though for New South Wales. Merkus.
Yeah, 2-on-1 between Loleo-Davis and Crane there.
You could see Merkus peeling for it quite strenuously.
Yeah,
that was good work from the Queenslanders there. They managed to get back, but New South Wales counter-attacking with such pace, and I guess just shows just how dangerous they can be.
Yeah, they're a deadly side. I mean, both of them are, and we're going to see plenty of examples of perfect play over the next 40 minutes.
20 minutes each way, and we're just over 5 minutes in as Merkus has to get back and support Latcham there. It's Loleo-Davis. Dimitri's forced to go back to his keeper. An opportunity for Queensland, and we're going to have the opening goal.
Whoa, what a goal.
Great stuff from Peters. The Powerroos representative gets the first goal here, and it's advantage Queensland here in the first game of the National Championships. And that's a great start for Queensland. A little bit fortuitous. New South Wales keeper racing off his line.
It is, but they'll take it no less.
Have to be in the right position. You have to follow up those balls, and that's exactly what
You've got to chase them.
Tristan Peters did.
No, we'll look for a quick comeback, I can imagine, from New South Wales. They'll be feeling this.
Well, it's an early goal, and you'd say it has been coming. New South Wales
exactly
struggling a little bit to deal with the Queenslanders at the moment. Here comes Peters again, racing after that ball. It must be frustrating to only have the 10 kilometres an hour sometimes when the ball's racing away from you like that.
Sometimes you just wish it could go that extra K, but...
Good opportunity from the corner for Queensland.
Potentially maybe doubling their lead.
Peters getting into a promising position. Looks like Chris Turnbull's just in the goal as opposed to in it. It's going to creep in.
The defensive combination maybe not quite communicating in that instance.
Disappointing there for New South Wales, and Queensland have raced into a 2-goal lead. And I think that's almost direct from the corner by Josh Merkers.
Yeah, it's just with a little deflection off the back of Lolio Davis.
Excellent start for Queensland.
Yeah, quick start.
They'll be enjoying this. Can New South Wales hit back? Here's the goal scorer. Up against Lolio Davis. There's excellent work from Merkers. He really pulls the strings for his club up here, Brisbane Strikers. Up against Kareem and Abdullah Kareem and Merkers. That's a battle that we're enjoying, and look at the two of them going at it. That's exceptional work. And it is a Queensland ball, and Kareem a little bit frustrated there. Can't quite keep that ball in, but that was a really good battle between Josh Merkers and Abdullah Kareem.
It was, for sure. No, New South Wales needs to keep their focus here. Make sure they don't get 3 down.
Of course, 2-0 is often described as being quite a dangerous lead.
It is.
But at the moment, Queensland are really dominating.
Yeah. But there's still time for the game to change. The game is still young.
Not even through the first quarter yet, no. As Peters up against Kareem. Sorry, Castles, apologies. Tried to squeeze the ball through to Peters. Excellent work there. See the assistant over on that far side giving the decision in favour of New South Wales. Ball coming off Bryce Castles last. Just enough time to remind you to give big thanks to our gold sponsor, Power Mobility. It's a one-stop shop for all your mobility needs. Drop into their huge showroom up in Geebung here in Brisbane. Or of course you can go online, powermobility.com.au. New South Wales just crabbing their way up that sideline. Leo Davis with the kick in.
Trying to gain territory here.
Assistant need to get out of the way when you guys swing round.
Exactly.
The guards on the front of the chairs probably do a fair bit of damage to errant linesmen.
Yes. No, try not to hit them.
Of course, yeah. A good battle. Castles knows he's a little bit frustrated there as Leo Davis tries to play that ball back inside, but it's well dealt with by Matcham. Merkers, sorry. Now Kareem. Turnover in the midfield. Peters. Kareem. Kareem so quick, going from side to side. It is a New South Wales ball. Leo Davis will take. Excellent skill from Kareem. You can see why he won the World Cup MVP, in which the Poweroos finished in fourth place, I believe. Yes, they did. No, you can see his skill, and I mean, for driving with his feet, absolutely outstanding, isn't it? It's incredible to think, and we do need to take that into account. But I was speaking to Tom Dixon, and he did remind me that for all of you guys in power chairs, this is how you get around on a day-to-day basis. So he likened it to myself getting up, putting my shoes on, and going for a walk. It's not for you guys in the power chair players. As we see a substitution for Queensland, it'll be Bryce Castles who comes off, and he's going to be replaced by Jack Gillespie, who made his Poweroos debut last year. So not a bad player to come off the bench when you can put international players on the rotation. I know, it's just like the Crusaders in Super Rugby. We're not allowed to talk about rugby over here, especially not the Crusaders. They've been the benchmark team for a long time in the Super Rugby competition. Just like New South Wales and Queensland here, by far the two benchmark teams. And at the moment, it is the hosts, Queensland, who are dominating this encounter by 2-1. Merkers just gets the right side of Crane and wins a free kick as well. Crane for contact. I don't think Jordan Crane is particularly happy with that, the Poweroos rep. Almost feel like I should stop saying Poweroos rep, because I think everybody on the field at the moment is an Australian representative. And they all deserve to be there as well. Of course, the Ditch Cup will be coming up on Saturday, a game that you'll be involved with, Luke. Well, hopefully
hopefully involved with. But yes, looking forward to it already. It's been a while, as I said, since I've been involved, but here's a counter-attacking opportunity for New South Wales.
It's well dealt with by Latcham in goal. He's the Brisbane City goalkeeper in the local competition.
Keeping it nice and simple at the back is key in power chair football.
You can overcomplicate things, I think, in any code of football.
Exactly.
And that's where mistakes can come in. As Merkus comes up with the ball, now goes up against Kareem. You get past.
We're going to see this many times this game, I think.
And you see these two talented players go at each other. It makes you realise just what a tough job you have as a Queensland, as a New South Wales, as a New Zealand representative in going up against the Poweroos, because when you've got players of that quality on the field, it makes things very difficult.
You don't need to remind me. No, we'll be facing that on Saturday, and I must say I'm looking forward to it already. Should be a tight game.
There's an opportunity now on the counter-attack for Kareem. Kareem has Crane on the near side.
He's got Lolio Davis behind him in support.
It's well dealt with. Really well dealt with by Merkus, and New South Wales slightly overcommitted there, and it took some really good goalkeeping from Turnbull to come out and snuff out the danger. Peters unable to get the ball past him, and New South Wales will have the throw, but Peters nips in well, and here's the substitute. Gillespie is making a nuisance of himself in the middle of the park. Be a goal kick.
Queensland really seem to be looking to dominate this final third.
Playing a very high line, really pressuring New South Wales and forcing the mistakes. And
looking for the interceptions in particular.
They're nipping in incredibly well. It's giving Turnbull no options. Kareem wearing out a path in the floorboards here. Just trying to create some space for himself to get past Gillespie, but he's unable to do so. And Gillespie now in a little bit of space. If Peters can get the ball through to him, and Peters does come away with it. Races in and does battle with Dimitri. Leo Davis. Peters goes around the outside. Back inside. Merkus is there. Just escapes from Merkus, and Merkus and Crane going one-on-one down that far side. A little bit of defensive mistake at the back. Could this be the opportunity for New South Wales? Good goalkeeping by Latcham, and all escapes through, and the counter-attack now for Queensland. Good goalkeeping by Turnbull. And the ball is found its way to our commentary position here.
Yeah, it's back to an even contest now.
New South Wales finding their place in this game. Just with 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half, they trail by 2-0. It was Tristan Peters and Josh Merkus inside the opening 10 with the goals for Queensland. But New South Wales, who of course have had to travel, and I understand some travelled by plane and some drove up from Sydney, so it's a fair trek.
Yeah, I met a few of them in the hotel lobby as I was coming in myself.
Just the logistical problems of transporting an entire team of power chair athletes.
It's never easy, I can tell you that.
It's not just the fact that you have to get on the planes, which can be difficult for those with a disability, unfortunately still here in 2018, but when you've got extra chairs as well, it adds to the complication. And then when 6 to 8 to how many athletes have we got from Queensland, from New Zealand? It's
12. We've got 12 of us, I know.
Plus carers and plus supporters.
Exactly.
Could have chartered your own plane to come over.
It's a big contingent, which I'm really pleased to see from us.
It's good opportunity to help grow the sport in this region, to have New Zealand have an opportunity to join the International Day of People with Disability 2018 Australian Power Chair Football Association National Championships.
Bit of a mouthful there.
Can be a bit of a mouthful. It's good to get the sponsors in. Nothing would be possible without them.
Exactly.
Absolutely. In particular, the gold sponsors, Power Mobility. They're dedicated to helping you get mobile so you can enjoy life to the fullest and have an extensive range of mobility products, from power chairs and scooters to lift chairs and home care. So visit powermobility.com.au or the showroom up here in Brisbane at G-Bung. You'll be able to find out more there. So fantastic to have these sponsors, the Queensland Government, of course, involved as well, and Football Queensland.
Queensland really looking to lock it up here, keep it tight.
3.5 minutes to go before the half-time break, but New South Wales will escape with Kareem, but Merkus was alert to that prospect, and they're Doing battle now, Kareem, just showing how tricky he is by escaping through there.
It's another Merkus Karim battle.
We've seen plenty of them already, and I dare say they're going to continue throughout this competition. Excellent stuff. That's brilliant, though, from Merkus.
Beautiful.
Oh, Merkus goes past the second. This is wonderful from Merkus. And he will win the throw-in. Brilliant stuff from the Brisbane striker, Josh Merkus. A talented player, and he's showing just how talented he is there by going past Abdullah Kareem, the world MVP, and then Jordan Crane as well, another Power Roos rep.
He's showing just why he has the most goals and assists in the QPFA league.
He was the MVP of the competition. He hits that one towards goals. Might have another opportunity. No, to Peters. It's good interplay
good
there.
Passing, exactly.
Merkus, can he squeeze it across? He can. Here's Peters again. Have to be careful of crowding in this situation. That's excellent escape, Crane. That's wonderful football.
Can't quite get it past them, though.
It's Merkus again doing his defensive duties. He's playing almost a quarterback role to direct traffic for Queensland, Josh Merkus, and he's going to try and squeeze that ball through to Gillespie now. But it's still with Merkus. Gillespie cuts inside. It's going to fall for Gillespie. He's going to swing. Would be dangerous. Good goalkeeping from Turnbull, but it's still there with Merkus. Merkus looking for an option. Peters is there. But Kareem is also in attendance, and Kareem does excellently well to snuff out the danger. Wonderful football from Kareem. And what a battle these two are enduring. They'll need half-time, these two, the efforts, and Kareem's going to bear down on goal now.
Good defensive work.
They're linking up well, aren't they, Merkus and Latcham? And you have to in these situations. And then that spin shot by Dimitri Lalia-Davis, just a slightly off target, not quite getting his radar working early in this.
Couldn't quite find Karim. Had he found him, who knows what could have happened.
Exceptional football from both these two teams. It's Queensland leading by 2-0. We'll have a half-time break very, very shortly, just over 90 seconds remaining. Excellent work from Crane. New South Wales coach pleading for there being two players in the vicinity. Can't have a 2-on-1. Lovely turn.
Some silky skills from Karim.
That's unbelievable from Karim, but defensive work from Merkus as well. He went right back up on his back two wheels there and trying to spin round quickly. Of course, the speed limit is only forwards and backwards. The speed that these guys turn round in is some sight to behold. And again, it's the spatial awareness from these athletes to not smash into each other on a regular basis.
When I'm playing, I think, how did I not connect with that person? But yeah, when you do contact, it is a big contact, and no one enjoys that.
No, of course, and there are strict rules about that as well. And when you have players with spinal injuries, of course, and P1 players in particular who don't have that neck strength, of course, it can be really jarring, and that's why the contact rules are so strict around that particular infringement. Peters again tries to get in. That's going to be half-time. Clock had actually stopped on 1 minute 26 seconds remaining, but the referee's on the ball, which is always good to see.
Yes.
And we are going to have a half-time break, and it's a good half from the hosts, Queensland, leading by 2-0. Tristan Peters getting us underway in terms of goal scoring in the 6th minute. And then that was added to just a few seconds later, really, by Josh Merkus, straight from a corner. And New South Wales, who finished second in the National Championships last year down in New South Wales, Queensland going for 3 in a row. They have all the work to do in the second half. Just a short break. What do the coaches say in these situations? Is it a case of just trying to get things tactically better like at half-time, trying to alert yourselves to where the errors are creeping in and perhaps where the weaknesses come in? And this is where coaches really earn their crust.
Yeah, exactly. Quite often it's just telling your team, keep in the game, don't lose faith. Working out whether it's a defensive issue or whether it's an offensive issue. Keeping the morale up is probably the main main thing a coach can do in this time. All the work before on tactics and core skills, that happens before the match. It's up to the mentality during the match.
It's difficult for New South Wales because Queensland have just been dominant. They've been all over New South Wales in so many aspects of this game. There's been a couple of breakout attacks, particularly from the world MVP Abdullah Karim, and you can see why he's the player that he is, and why he earns the accolades, because he really has been showing just how impressive a player he is. But it's been hard going for New South Wales. Queensland have come out really, really on top and are looking the goods at the moment.
Yeah, the one difference in this half is that Queensland were able to find their passes, and it seems like New South Wales have just not been able to connect and gel so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a totally different New South Wales side in the second half.
And will that be in part personnel changes? Of course, New South Wales have plenty of players on the bench. The Queenslanders opting for a more streamlined system this time out. Only Tom Dixon and at the moment Bryce Castles on the bench. Castles had an interrupted season with that broken leg, so perhaps not lacking match fitness. He was instrumental in Brisbane City making the grand final in the Queensland competition. It's a 3-team competition. For those of you who are unaware, up here in Queensland, it's Brisbane Strikers, Moreton Bay Jets, and Brisbane City. All those teams are in the National Premier League's Queensland. The clubs are associated with the power chair teams, and that's good to see from an inclusion perspective. It's good to have that, and because really what we're watching here is football, and it's really good football as well, as we've seen so far.
Exactly, it's football, but the electric wheelchair variety, and it's great to see. As many might not be aware, power chair football is one of the few sports that individuals in electric wheelchairs can play that is a team sport. So it's great for camaraderie in particular. But the quality that's been played out here so far has been exquisite. Even both teams, even though New South Wales haven't scored any goals yet, some of their works, for example, the tussling by Abdullah Karim, whew, you don't see much better than that.
It's a real tough player to play against, and as you've already mentioned, you know, he moves himself around using his feet, which again is remarkable for I guess able-bodied people to try and get their heads around. Really, like it's really quite remarkable. I understand in the World Cup he's a P1 at the moment, but in the World Cup he was reclassified as a P2, which could have caused a few problems for the Poweroos, but he still managed to come out as a world MVP. And I think that just shows just how good a player he is.
Exactly. Classification can always be a tricky one. We don't have any classifiers in this region at the moment, which can make it difficult for knowing who's going to be who in international competitions, which is why we have to take so many people just in case some get classified as P2 instead of a P1. But conversely, sometimes people you think are going to be P2s get classified as P1, so it can sometimes be just down to the luck of the classifier. And
I guess that's an issue with disability sport in
exactly.
general, isn't it? And it can be a little bit subjective, and I think that's it can be an issue at times.
Yeah, no disability is the same. As you'll see here, we've got spinal injuries, we've got muscular dystrophy, we've got the whole lot.
Big spectrum, and that's why this particular sport is so good, really, because you do have it is so inclusive. You know, you like you say, you have players who have spinal injuries, you have players with muscular dystrophy, you have you have players who have birth defects. It's a sport that's available for everyone to play, and that's what makes it so impressive, really. So we just see a substitution at half-time for Queensland, and I'll just mention before we get things back underway, Tom Dixon, the Queensland Power Chair Football Association president, is on the field in goal, and he is a little bit more vocal than Tom Latcham. Yes. little snigger from Luke there. You've come up against Tom on a couple of occasions, I imagine.
Yes, I have indeed.
Vocal's a good way to describe him, isn't it?
Oh, vocal is definitely a way to describe him. Not a bad thing at all, though. Communication is key in this game, so the more talking, the better, I say.
So a good position to be in as a goalkeeper if you are one of those more vocal players, because you can obviously see everything happening and unfolding in front of you, and that makes a big difference for a team to have somebody directing traffic from the back and just making all the calls, and can help tactically.
Exactly, and it also helps to keep the goalkeeper engaged so that they're ready for any counter-attacks. They're watching the ball, they're seeing the big picture, getting in the right positions. So, and it does help, especially the centre, who is normally the person who's having to be the talkative person. It really gives them a hand so that they can focus on the play ahead rather than the whole picture.
Tom Dixon, one of the veterans in this competition. He's been involved in power chair sport for a long time, former power hockey representative, I understand, and that was the last time he actually played in front of his home state. It's an opportunity here for New South Wales. It's 2-on-1 at the back, not in an offensive way. There's a big collision there. Kareem and Merkus. Excellent work from Merkus again. This is a really impressive performance from Merkus. In the grand final, he was MVP for Brisbane Strikers, and he's just a remarkable player. He seems to be able to read everything, and he's a real combative character, you know, can really get stuck into those one-on-one battles and always seems to come up on top. Well, certainly so far.
Certainly today, yes. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it remains that way for the rest of the competition either. No, he's a superb player, one of the very best.
Good opportunity now here, though, for New South Wales. A 2-on-1 being called, and that was good work from New South Wales to force that. Sometimes it isn't necessarily an error as Dixon gets his first touch. And
they're looking a new team already. Got that aggression, got that spark back.
Maybe there's a slope on this court, angling down to our right.
I have to remember that for my game.
Perhaps that's the direction the wind's blowing here in this indoor arena. Fantastic facility here at the Brisbane State High School.
It really is.
You mentioned that it's a slightly different surface and it takes a bit of getting used to for some of these teams that haven't played here before, and I understand that most of these teams haven't actually had a chance to have a practice on this court.
No, I saw it for the first time a couple of hours ago, so it'll be interesting, but it shouldn't change the dynamics too much. It's just a little change.
It's the same for both teams.
Exactly, as you can see, New South Wales has already got used to it. They just need to try and lock it up here for a little while, keep some sustained pressure and some sustained offensive pressure.
A little discussion there between Merkus and our referee. Just trying to orientate themselves into the correct position. A bit of a battle going on before the ball's played in, and I'm sure that happens on a regular basis.
It always is. You're trying to get the advantage. You want to get in front of the other person's cage so that they can't come and cut it out.
Explain to me the rules, Luke, around how many players are allowed in that goal area, because obviously not everybody's crowding the keeper like you do see in football.
So essentially, there's some minor technicalities, but for the broader view, there are only allowed to be 2 people in your defensive box, one of those which must be your goalkeeper, the person wearing the goalkeeper bib. And quite often that person isn't actually the goalkeeper. However, we're seeing contact called there.
Called on Castles. I don't think he was overly impressed. He seems a bit, looks like he feels a bit hard done by, but it certainly was that spin. I think he felt that perhaps the New South Wales player rather drove into his spinning
I don't think
chair.
anyone ever is impressed when the referee calls against them, but I mean, that's just part of sport, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a poor free kick, though, and an opportunity now for Castles to perhaps make amends. Oh, it's almost kept in by Lalia Davis, and did very, very well there, but just couldn't quite keep it in.
It's a game of millimetres, isn't it?
It really is, and opportunity for Queensland to perhaps get out of their defensive half for the first time in this second period.
Maybe looking to add to their 2-goal lead.
Might notice that some of the players, it looks like they start to go and then pull back, and that will be the 2-on-1 rule, right? You can't see players whizzing off in all directions. It's not just because they're getting a little bit confused about where they need to be. It's that they need to be in the right position. As we just see a little bit of work being done to Tristram Peters' chair.
Yes, it looks like Peters rear wheels, his caster wheels back on the chair are not down. So in these strike forces, they have these wheels that you have to lock in every time before you play a game to stop you from tipping backwards. Otherwise, you're like a bucking bronco.
As we've already seen on a couple of occasions, particularly with Josh Merkus, the way he's getting right on the accelerator. And I understand the acceleration is changeable. It's electronically adjustable in these chairs, particularly in the strike forces.
So most people want to have them really high up, as you can imagine, because acceleration is one of the things that isn't governed by speed limit. So 100% acceleration can get you there just that little bit quicker than the other person, which is really important.
Close Jordan Crane and Bryce Castles were to each other there. Crane has continued, now going up against the indomitable Josh Merkus. He's just been a phenomenon in the first half. Absolutely incredible performance, certainly in with a shout for man of the match if things stay as they are.
No, it's going to be hard to contain him in my match against him later today.
Lovely dummy there from Castles, but the ball just picked up momentum, it looked like, and managed to run out, and a wry smile on the Brisbane City captain's face.
He's only human.
The way Queensland have been playing so far, you could almost be forgiven for thinking that they're just one well-oiled machine. They've been playing such fantastic football.
Oh,
so again, Tristan Peters just nips in there and goes up against Leo Davis. Leo Davis having to battle here. Castle's desperately trying to get out of the way to avoid the 2-on-1 call.
Yep. Back to Merkus.
Do well. Referees, of course, showing a little bit of leniency on occasion in those situations, because it did certainly look like Castles was getting away from the situation. Obviously, he didn't want to clean up our scorer just in front of us here in our commentary position.
Exactly. There's no need sometimes to be too strict on the rules. You've got to look at the intent of the player and whether they're affecting play or not, just like in any sport.
Common sense, isn't it? And showing that ability to understand the flow of the game. And that's why, of course, having officials is so important.
Exactly. And Gavin, a referee from New South Wales, is excellent at that. We had him over at our New Zealand Nationals, and world-class referee.
He's one of the only properly qualified power chair referees in this part of the world, I understand it. Certainly in terms of being the central referee.
Yes, I don't know what it's fully like in Australia, but I know there's none in New Zealand. So
here comes Castles now, counter-attack for Queensland. Castles looking for an option, maybe perhaps tried a little bit too hard there.
2-on-1 they're called. It looks like between Karim and Crane actually, and not obviously Turnbull, because he's wearing the goalkeeper bib, which allows him to get close to other players.
So free kick right on the edge now for Queensland, and
it's an indirect free kick, so it must touch someone else, another player, before being a goal.
The advantage, of course, being with the attacking team, just in terms of the way you can set up in this situation. But Kareem is lurking just about on halfway now, and if the ball escapes, it could be all sorts of trouble, and it was Peters, and another again.
Well defended.
Really good stuff from Turnbull. He was ideally positioned there, and now is a counter-attacking opportunity for Kareem. Dixon comes out, and he battles with Kareem now. Kareem will be looking to get the better of Dixon. A bit of contact there. Dixon does well. Merkus is back. You see that on a regular basis, the keeper coming out and then an outfield player just dropping back in, but just on the goal line, just to try and stop those balls from creeping through. That was good defence from Queensland. They preserved their 2-goal advantage midway through this second half.
Yes, it's looking very tight this half, isn't it? End-to-end sort of stuff, which is good to see.
Oh, and that ball's crept in. A lovely goal.
New South Wales
by Abdullah Kareem. That's an excellent goal. I'll tell you what, he enjoyed that. Just squeezed it in between two Queensland defenders. Check that out on the replay.
Oh, there's no better feeling than that.
That is an exceptional goal. Excellent work from Dimitri Lalia-Davis to pick out Abdullah Kareem, and then Kareem couldn't have placed it better. Wonderful goal.
You can see why he was the MVP at the World Cup, can't you?
You can see the excitement, and it really fired up the New South Wales team.
Game on.
Exactly right, Luke. Game on indeed. And now Queensland will they be able to hold on in this situation? They just managed to preserve their lead.
Now this is where you have to look to your experienced players to set the example. And
Locked up here. Excellent work from Merkus to Peters.
Or back to Merkus.
Merkus takes it round Kareem. Still there for Merkus. Excellent work for Kareem. He concedes the corner. And with the corner, it's just enough time to give a shout out to our gold sponsor, Power Mobility, an NDIS registered provider with over 40 years of providing quality mobility products, expert advice and convenient mobile repair service. Go to powermobility.com.au or you can visit their stand here at the Championships or their warehouse up in G-Bunga. Corner is fired in. Castles, well cut out.
Power on it there.
Loleo Davis needed to make that intervention, did very well, and it'll be a goal kick for New South Wales. And
Castles almost snuck it round behind Loleo Davis.
Loleo Davis did very well to try and get that, and Castles...
He's a class act, isn't he?
He's a good player, and he's taking a bit of a break now, and he'll be replaced by Gillespie. Similar pattern to what we saw in the first half. Gillespie will be looking to just inject a little bit of fresh impetus to this Queensland team. So it was a little bit of contact there. But
I think it's a side
only
throw
been going side throw for the New South Welshman. Again, that common sense coming into play.
Exactly.
This has been a real titanic tussle between these two heavyweights in Australian power chair football. Here's Loleo Davis, the provider for the New South Welsh goal. Gets the better of Peters.
There we go. There's the connecting passes that they've been looking for.
Loleo Davis, back to Kareem.
Yeah.
Good football from New South Wales. They're really starting to get a little bit more involved in this game and starting to gain the ascendancy. New South Wales, of course, travelling for the National Championships for the first time. This ball is hammered across by Loleo Davis, but only into the path of Tristan Peters, and Peters can't keep that one in.
Queensland are going to have to play some exceptional football now in order to hold on. 7 minutes left.
It's been a good game. These two sides probably are the two teams that you'd expect to be there or thereabouts at the end of the tournament, as Kareem gets intercepted, picked off by Gillespie. Here's Peters. Loleo Davis doing exceptionally well there, and Tristan Peters just escaping between Kareem and Turnbull. There's only space enough for one power chair, and that's exactly where Peters managed to squeeze through. The spatial awareness of these two sides just showing how important that is.
Queensland are still looking to attack, even though they're one goal to the good.
It's the best form of defence, Luke,
exactly,
on occasion.
Exactly.
New South Wales unlikely to score when the ball is in their defensive third of the field, and Merkus just getting himself in position to play this ball in. Lovely one-touch football from Queensland, and that's the third goal. That is exceptional football. How about that? Peters with his second, and the 2-goal lead is restored with just 6 minutes remaining. We'll see it on the replay now. Merkus to Gillespie. Gillespie threads the eye of the needle, and that is a wonderful goal.
That doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Peters. No. That's exactly what you want to see, and
not much you can do about that either. It's just perfect passing.
Again, a little bit of technical issues with Peters.
With his rear wheels there.
All back in place now. That was wonderful football from Tristan Peters, and there's not a whole lot of time left for New South Wales to get themselves back into this game now. And Queensland, we mentioned attack being the best form of defence. Lovely ball again inside by Merkus. And Peters with the shot. It was well dealt with by Turnbull. Well, here comes Kareem. Oh, this is good football from New South Wales now. Can they squeeze that ball out wide to Crane?
They're not giving up just yet, are they?
Kareem on the run now. Getting a run at the Queensland defence, but Tristan Peters comes out with it, and a lot of respect being shown between these two players there. Again, just Dimitri Loleo Davis just showing just how important those rear wheels are when you're trying to get that away. That's excellent from Loleo Davis. Gets inside to Kareem. Crane! And that's just gone the wrong side of the post from a New South Wales perspective, but there's still time enough for New South Wales to get back into this game. They trail by 3-1, but have a corner now to perhaps get another goal back, and it'll be Dimitri Lalia-Davis, a Power Roos representative who took his club side to the New South Wales title this year. Will squeeze his ball across.
Oh, well defended there. Peters getting in the way so that Crane couldn't have a swing.
Dixon did well there to just squeeze that ball out. It's a New South Wales throw in over on that far side though. Great football from these two sides. This is a perfect advertisement for power chair football here.
Exactly the perfect first game to have.
And just see Tom Dixon just needing his leg re-strapped. Of course, it's so important that these players are strapped into their chairs with the G-force involved when they're spinning around.
Got to keep those legs in.
There's a bit of contact there, but it's picked up by Queensland. Gillespie couldn't quite squeeze that one back wide to Peters again, but Merkus has come away with it. Here's an opportunity for Gillespie. Gillespie squeezes that ball. Excellent defence by Lalia-Davis.
Exactly.
He was in the exact right space.
It's a dangerous area now for New South Wales.
Queensland showing their cards and playing their cards right in this opening game. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Josh Merkus almost squeezed that through. It's
Lalia-Davis with beautiful defending there.
Had to watch that one well, and that's brilliant from Lalia-Davis to take the ball out. Merkus is still there though. Our referee skips out of the way. Merkus, good goalkeeping by Turnbull. Lalia-Davis just giving Abdullah Karim a little bit of a G-up. Just telling him where he needs to be, and that is marking Gillespie, Jack Gillespie. A one-time Power Roos representative from last year. Peters, it was almost a carbon copy there. Oh, it's good work from Gillespie.
Almost goes flying there.
Gillespie just getting his angles a little bit wrong and knocking the goal, making it a little bit wider than perhaps it should be. And
interesting
referees.
Tactics, I think.
Well, yeah, you do wonder what would have happened had the ball gone in that direction. Just over 2 minutes remaining now, and Queensland look like they are going to get their first home International Day of People with Disabilities 2018 Australian Power Chair Football Association Championship campaign up and running with a win against their long-time rivals New South Wales, south of the border. Merkus enjoying that ball.
Title defence looks like it's going to be going off to a good start here.
2 minutes remaining. And the clock stops, just so that the players and spectators here don't know how long's going. You do have that option on the replay live stream. It's Gillespie getting involved, just darting in and out on the edge of the area. He's up against Lalia-Davis. A little bit of contact there, not called. Merkus back inside to Gillespie. Good pass. And again, contact. This time it is called against Lalia-Davis. An opportunity, one last opportunity you might say, with just under 60 seconds remaining for Queensland to put a cherry on top of the cake.
Exactly. One of the hardest things to defend against is a direct free kick directly in front of the box in the middle of the goal.
Merkus will pick his spot. Just getting himself in position. Peters, good save, back to Merkus. Gillespie's there, still with Merkus though.
Well defended.
Crane does well, so does Lalia-Davis. He goes up against Josh Merkus now. Peters tries to squeeze it in at this near post.
By Turnbull.
Turnbull's exceptional in goal. He's been assisted by Crane.
Almost got it through the gap there, did Peters.
And that is full time. And an opening win for the Queensland Cyclones. An excellent performance from the hosts, and they've got their title defence up and running with a wonderful 3-1 victory. It was a goal in each half from Tristan Peters, either side of a Josh Merkus goal. It's 2-0 at the break to the Queenslanders. Abdullah Karim, the world MVP, getting the New South Welshmen on the board. But in the end, Queensland too strong and a really good performance, and perhaps just showing just what they're capable of, and a real warning shot to what the rest of the teams are up against in this competition.
Oh, exactly. It was a deserved win there. Not looking forward to playing them this afternoon. They're looking pretty ominous, but no. Well done. Both teams, though, playing exceptionally well, setting the standard for all of the rest of the teams here.
Just let you guys know what the rest of the schedule looks like today. Victoria are taking on the New Zealand Kiwi Greens. So you will not be involved in that game, Luke, but you are up next in Game 3 between Western Australia and the Kiwi Red side. That's at 12:15. Of course, all the live streams will be available as the Queenslanders get their team talk often underway and the inquest begins for the New South Welshmen. A long way to go. They will take on the Queensland Barbarians for New South Welshmen at 1:15, looking to get their first win of the campaign up and running. But we'll wrap things up for this live stream now. Of course, you'll be able to join the next live stream between Victoria and the New Zealand Greens shortly on the Queensland Power Chair Football Association Facebook page, and of course you can go onto YouTube as well. Luke, thanks very much for joining me and your commentary debut. I hope you enjoyed it.
No, it was good. Thank you very much.
Absolute pro. Looking forward to seeing you play in Game 3 against Western Australia from 12:15. But as for us here from Game 1, we'll see you shortly for Game 2.